Before we jump into this episode, I want to take a moment to tell you about the upcoming Texas Woodworking Festival, a 2-day celebration where makers and enthusiasts come together to share their passion for the craft. Join us for a weekend filled with creativity, community, and inspiration. You'll meet tool manufacturers, furniture makers, woodworking clubs, content creators, and more, all in one place with great food and drinks, and of course, all things woodworking. It all takes place in Austin, Texas on September 26th and 27th. The festival features an education track on both Saturday and Sunday, where you'll have a chance to learn from masters of the craft. Plus, there's also a special pre-conference content creator track on Friday, September 25th. Head to TexasWoodworkingFestival.com for more details and to grab your tickets. Use code MWAP10 to get 10% off your tickets. I'll drop a link in the show notes. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, there's something for everyone at the Texas Woodworking Festival. Don't miss it. Hi, I'm Kyle, and on this episode of the MWA podcast, Sean, Brian, and I are asking Andrew Parker the 5 questions. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out Andrew's interview on episode 610. So welcome back to the show, Andrew.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Well, before we get into 5 questions, we need to dip our toes in the woodworking news. So first off, a new tool is out there. It's the new smart drill. These are coming out more and more, but this one is called the Spinsin Tool 3.
Let's go with that.
I like it. Or the ST3 as they call it. So I'm going to go with the ST3. But this is kind of an interesting thing. It's an all-in-one drill, and it's mainly set up to drill at 90 degrees straight down, but it's a handheld drill. You can drill at some angles and stuff like that. You can add some things, but it's basically a portable drill press, and it has all the features that some of the drill presses have, the new smart drill presses where, you can set it for a depth and it will, go to that depth and then stop.
Yeah. It can also spinning or auto back out or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. And it can also tap too, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, I just thought it was an interesting thing. I'm not sure exactly how woodworking related it is, but I've been keeping an eye on the smart drills, and they're really, you have the smart drill presses, and now all that technology is coming down into the handheld drills. And this is another Kickstarter thing, but it looks pretty interesting, looks pretty heavy duty, looks well built, but it's going to be interesting when Milwaukee and DeWalt and those kind of companies with the same technology.
I have some concerns though.
Yeah.
Okay. With them.
So I went to the Kickstarter page.
Okay.
The price is the campaign is closed, but you can still get some late rewards. The prices are less than $300 for a drill like this.
Yeah.
And everything on the website is AI generated.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All the videos. There's not I'm not convinced I've actually seen an actual functioning unit.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been burned on 2 Kickstarter campaigns in the past, so maybe I'm a little bit bitter. But
yep, fair.
I would not be the first person to try and buy.
No, I wouldn't.
So
yeah, the only reason I really put this in here is not really to promote this. It's just like this is what's coming down the road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even just a digital angle, especially for chair making, trying to
yes,
instead of lasering all over the place and bevels and
Speaking of that, in my hands, I have the Co-Pilot system.
Is this the one with the little lights that go around?
Yeah, and it attaches to the backside of your drill. I just got this yesterday.
My.
Yeah, and it was a Kickstarter program type thing, and it actually shipped. It shipped actually from Australia. I didn't realize that. I got a shipping notice from DHL saying, "Hey, someone needs to be here to sign for this." And the way those things are text, I go, "Oh, this is a scam."
Yeah.
And then I went, "Well, it says DHL. It looks kind of legit. Let me take the tracking number and put in DHL's website." And I did, and it popped up. I go, "Oh, I didn't realize this is coming from Australia." Anyway, but yeah, so I haven't tried it out yet. But that was an interesting little thing that you actually attach to a drill, and I think these we featured it 6 months or so ago, and it was a Kickstarter. I went, it wasn't that bad, so I went, I need to try these things out, being a chair maker and especially making chair making jigs. And looking at it, I think it's going to be nice. I don't think it's going to replace anything that I'm doing. but we'll see. We'll see.
As a friendly guide to let you know that works. This tool that you brought up here, though, it's claiming like big things.
Oh yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Dual guide rails and real-time depth sensing. It keeps it keeps the bit perfectly perpendicular even on slippery surfaces, which I wouldn't describe woodworking as dealing with slippery surfaces, but okay. And makes blind holes and tapping clean, repeatable, and fast.
Yes.
Sure.
Tapping's not really a fast process.
It shouldn't be.
I don't know. I mean,
there are tapping bits that can use a standard drill.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it quickly.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you, Brian. I would not put any money into this whatsoever.
It seems like the big thing about this drill is that it's got some sort of cage that goes around the bit area, and then that you use that to plunge to know how deep you're going and keep you at 90.
The clearances of like the Jacob's chuck inside that body, as opposed to what a Shape Oko can do to a router bit, like there's little chance of gimbaling here to make it affect major differences. You can't come in this from a really cattywampus angle and have it correct for you. There's not a chance in the world.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, are they claiming that?
They're saying like it'll do like true 90-degree cuts at all times.
I think that's only if you got the cage on it.
Yeah. Okay. In reference to that, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the depth stop to me would be the most interesting piece because you see them in the video zero it once the bit contacts the wood, then you start it up.
Yes.
But I mean,
that I would love. Like that's
also ask yourself, how many times have you dropped the drill in your wood shop? So
that's my whole point is, like I said, I got this co-pilot thing. We'll see how well that works. I'll report back. But this tool's coming out. We've featured a couple of other of these Kickstarter drills in the past. So I think we're getting to the point with probably in the next couple of years, you're going to see like a Milwaukee or a DeWalt or all of them come out with some sort of, more electronic type stuff.
Yeah. If this is on the
attached to
edge,
them.
I get it. As always, I encourage anyone who gets one of these in hand to report their findings, please.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
undoubtedly
always interested. I'm a sucker for news stories on new tools.
I just think it's pretty cool because it's just like a couple of years ago, well, not a couple of years ago, but 5 years ago, we started seeing the smart drill presses, and then all that technology's filtering it's down into handheld drill.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Nova, this is your chance to really do this right.
I don't know. Like I said, my drill press went out. I was searching. The Nova's out there. It's got a good reputation. That Laguna drill press looks nice. I think Harvey's got a new one coming out, which they haven't. I think it was at a show. They haven't actually put it out on their website. But that was the drill press where you just had to make an X on your board and it would find the X.
Let's not oversimplify it. Can we I still want to, if I'm on a drill press, I still want to have to like grab the handle and slowly lower it and lean down.
Dimple. No.
Just like is it there? Oh no, I gotta move it a little.
Of course.
And then I'm gonna drill.
With all those things, it's always going in the back of my mind. That's just another thing to screw up and break.
Of course.
Or or I don't want to have Andrew. Can you give me some bespoke software to fix my drill press?
I can tell you, it will make your drill press worse.
Oh, anyway, with that, speaking of new innovations, Katz Moses KM Tools has a new miter rail that you can buy. These are things you can use to make crosscut sleds or other jigs for your router or table saw. And it's pretty interesting. I saw the little YouTube video he had when he introduced it, and it looks pretty cool. It's not cheap. I think it is a little cheaper than the one that Woodpecker sells, or right around the same price.
Right.
But he has two versions. I think the big one is
20 inches.
20 inches. Yeah, it's like $90. And then he's got another one that's 8 inches, and I think that one is $70. So that's for your smaller jigs. So not a lot of, unless you need the smaller one, I get the 20 incher. But I did see a little YouTube video, and it looks pretty interesting. It's got some bearings that this thing rides on,
That's what I was just looking at. Yeah.
It is very smooth. It's not using like, that, what's that white plastic? UHMV, whatever. I always get that
ultra high molecular
something. Yeah. Yeah. But a lot of these things use that to, kind of squeeze and slide and stuff like that. But this one is pretty interesting the way it works. I think it's probably worth the money. But I would encourage folks to go out there if you're building a crosscut sled. This seems like a good thing. Now, according to him in his videos, even if you have a big crosscut sled, you only need one of these. Most crosscut sleds like mine have two, but mine are made out of wood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he says, even with the bigger crosscut sleds, you only need one of these. So I don't know. Looks kind of interesting.
Ooh, so I have a slight problem with something that's almost 4 times as long. Okay, 3 times as long, being only $20 different. No, yes, $20 different. So the 8 inch is 70, and the 20 inch is 90. There's a weird comparison of product there.
I think the only difference is the length of the aluminum. I think
and the number of screws, right?
Yeah, like I think the number of screws is probably
it might be the same. 1, 2, 3.
I think it's the same. Yeah.
So
it's literally just the bearings are spread out further.
Yeah.
So it's the cost of bearing. No, it's not even the cost of bearing.
It's cost of aluminum. Yeah.
The cost of entry is all there, and then the couple of bearings cost you very little to make it much longer.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things. But anyway, as I'm perusing this website, it says I have a mystery discount. So anyway,
good for you. I do too. Look at that. But that being said, like if you're like in let's say like newer into this and you're making your sleds for whatever you're making them for, this is a nicer than wood attached things that ride in your miter slots.
Yeah.
Like this probably will center it and guide it better, smoother, and all that stuff. I mean, I don't have one because I don't have a table saw, but at my dad's shop, we do, and I've made a couple, and we've like waxed those rails to make them move smooth. Like we've set them, we've got the little woodpecker's tool to like make sure the fence is right and then set them down right, and the whole penny trick and setting the height right and everything. I mean, there's ways of complicating this, and that this simplifies to a degree. So I give him 100% credit in that direction. Like there's something to this. I just don't know if I was 15 years ago when I was building a sled for a table saw, if I was going to spend $90 on a rail when I could have made it out of wood. I don't know. Like there's something there.
I don't know. I think they just sold it to me though. They say it's great for building a bridle joint jig. And I think I need that.
There you go. There you go.
That is the key to what you need. This is it. This is it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I my crosscut sled, the main one I use has, wood runners that I built myself, and it has 2 of them, and they work great. They're fantastic. But there are other, things like I bought what is it from Micro Jig? I think it's called the Zero Play runner that they made, and I bought one of those. I love Micro Jig. I love most of the stuff I bought from them. Did not love that runner at all. So it's and I can't say the same thing about this Cast Moses one. I haven't used one, but it looks pretty good.
I'll give him credit for the time that I've known about him. He has done well thought out production of different tools. Like he really does. He innovates and tries to make it somewhat better. So give that there. Like there's something about it. So anybody try it out. I'm very curious to hear your experience. I don't personally have a table saw, so I don't need one.
There you go. Anyway, but they do make great bridle joint jigs. So anyway. Well, with that, let's move on to our next thing, and that is Triton. Y'all may have heard that Triton is no more, but yes, they have come back from the dead, so to speak, and that is TimberCon. The Australian woodworking company has acquired the Triton brand, which I think is interesting. We actually, TimberCon actually, does the Melbourne tools. Melbourne tools that we had them on. A year or 2 ago. on the show, and that company, their parent company is actually Tricon, or so I'm sorry, TimberCon, and so they actually bought Triton, tried to mix those two together. Anyway, but yeah, so that's interesting. I mean, I do have a Triton. I have their large router in my router table, and it has worked flawlessly for years. And I was kind of upset when I heard they were going out of business. So that's nice that they found someone to carry on the brand, and that it's truly an Australian company. So that's
because people really love the routers, right? That was the big thing that they had going on. So hopefully they don't change it.
Yeah, I think that was the big the big, I don't know, table router.
Yeah, because their big one that I have is basically has a built-in router lift. It's not the most accurate, but it works. It works pretty well. You can really dial it in. And I've had that in my router table for years and never really wanted a, traditional router lift. This worked fine for me. Of course, I use my router table like 3 times a year. So, mainly it stores stuff horizontally for me.
As they do.
But anyway, yeah. So I thought that was worth mentioning, especially with the TimberCon folks from the Melbourne Tools representatives coming on. So I figured I'd give them a shout out. So pretty cool. Next up, Woodpeckers has a low cost router table fence. I think this is actually a pretty good deal. They have a router table fence that has micro adjustment to it, and the fence only is $99. If you want the micro adjust, it's a little bit more. It's $130, and I think that's probably worth it. But this looks like a solid router table fence, and I have a Woodpeckers router table. It doesn't have the latest super duper fence, but it had the previous version of their super duper fence. And this one has all the features that my fence has, and more in a shorter package. Because mine, to get the micro adjust, you had to basically buy this separate thing that attached to the fence that had a lead screw that you could screw it from the back. And it really added a bunch of extra links to it. I mean, it works well, but it's, kind of a pain. And this seems like much better thought out and implemented. So, and I think that's a fair price for it too, $130 for a fence. Now, this isn't a table. This is just the fence. But the fence is also adjustable, so it will fit almost anything out there as far as, the slots and stuff like that. And, a lot of good features to it.
Yeah. Vacuum attachment. Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good buy.
Yeah. So if you're making a router table, check this out.
Mm-hmm.
This would be good. They even saw it, replacing fences on some other, commercially available router table. So maybe if you have a router table, you hate your fence, this might make a great replacement for it. And with that, let's give our patrons a shout out. So who do we have to thank this week?
Yep, we always like to give our patrons a big shout out, and today we're giving that particular shout out to Ron Goritsky. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, Goritsky. It's Obst Woodworker. We met him. He's a great guy.
Yeah, we met him. He's been on the show.
He's been on the show, and I hope to see him in Amana again this year. Exactly. That'd be awesome if he makes that road trip. And if you would like to, join Ron in helping us out, supporting us, you can do that by going to patreon.com/MWA podcast.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Ron. And with that, are you ready for the 5 questions?
As ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
Wonderful.
So what's your favorite tool? And as always, our limit is 23.
I had to think about this. I don't know. I'm terrible at choosing favorites, but today, as I was working on my project, I thought, you know what? I really like my chisels, and I like my dovetail saw. So I've got a set of Ashley Isles chisels. They're made in Sheffield, so also nice for me. Buy local and all of that.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. Did you buy those local?
Well, I bought them while I was in England, so yes.
Okay. There you go. Because you can buy them here, but
not that big of a country, Kyle.
yeah.
And then the PAX dovetail saw. It's Thomas Flynn, I think. Yeah, Thomas Flynn saws, also a Sheffield company, and that one actually I have to say I kind of like it because on our tools list it was listed as get the Lee Nielsen tapered dovetail saw. And I was like, well, I'm gonna be contrarian. I'm gonna buy local for me. So I bought the Sheffield saw, the PAX saw, and actually, I think I like it more than the Lee Nielsen. All of the fellow students around me, that basically they all have the Lee Nielsen, and I watch them trying to cut stuff, and I've tried to use it, and I'm just like, I don't like it. I like this saw more.
Okay.
So it's got a nice heft to it. So like the Lee Nielsen is almost so light that you can't let it just ride. And so people then start pushing on it, and then the teeth catch, and then they can't get it to cut. And so it's got so little weight that you have a very, very light touch to get it to work right. This saw, it's got enough heft to it that you just let it sit and it will cut. In fact, and it works really well where if you have to really push with your heel of your hand, and that just lifts it just enough that it gives you a really nice smooth cut. So I like it a bit more than Nielsen.
Nice. That's very interesting. I wonder, is there any quality difference between what you get over there to what we can get in the United States?
I think it's the exact same. Well, so there's an online retailer of tools in the UK called Workshop Heaven.
Oh yeah. I bought from them.
And I got this through them, and this was apparently a special edition made just for Workshop Heaven. So
okay.
I looked at what the differences were. I was trying to figure it out when I was buying this, and I think it was, they say it's got a touch of fleam, so I think they sharpened it ever so slightly differently. And I think the size was just a little bit different. I think the plate was maybe a little bit shorter. I can't remember.
Or the teeth per in metric instead of inch.
So, no, it's still TPI. Yeah, nice. And then the last one is just every time I pick it up, I like things that I've made myself. That's one of the things I've really learned. And I just, well, you guys can see it. Listeners won't be able to see it. I made a mallet for myself early on in my career of doing this, and it was literally just a piece of firewood that I turned into a mallet. And every time I pick it up, I'm just like, this is nice. It's just nice to use, and it feels good.
Yeah. Well, it looks like you have a little bit of marquetry in there.
Yeah, so I taught myself marquetry when I didn't go anywhere for Christmas. I taught myself marquetry, and this is the second piece of marquetry I ever did. And I was like, I'll just put this in my mallet.
Sure.
Nice.
Where else? Yeah, and why not? Very cool. So then who has influenced you the most?
So I had to think about that. I was like, what would I say has influenced me? So as a software engineer for 30 years, so a lot of my influence comes from software engineering. And there's two people in particular in software engineering that I think have a huge influence on me for the way that I think. And that's two guys, Ron Jeffries and Kent Beck. I don't know if any of you are into software. There's a programming approach called extreme programming, and these guys kind of came up with it. They described it. It's a whole kind of like way of thinking about how you build software, about short cycles and lots of testing and not planning too much ahead. And that has really, I think, influenced everything about the way I think. And so I even apply it in woodworking. I view these things in terms of the way that I think about software engineering and the way I do that kind of stuff. And then another person who's really influenced me was actually a friend, and he was a manager of me for a while. And he taught me just a lot about kind of like rigorous thinking and philosophy of life and that kind of thing. And that's Jeffrey Frederick. He's got his own podcast. It's called Agile Conversations. He and another guy who I've worked with, they talk a lot about like how organizations work and how to have conversations that are effective and those kinds of things. And then I thought I should probably put something for woodworking in here. And I think Matt Esley. So he's a woodworking YouTuber in the UK. And really it's kind of, where do you start? That will set a lot of the way that you go from then on. And it was his videos that really got me going, especially his videos about like, how do you cut this joint? How do you use a plane? How do you use a chisel? And so that kind of like was foundational for me in the way that I understand things and do stuff.
Oh yeah. I've seen some of his videos. They're pretty nice. Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah. And now he's remaking his series of how to make this joint videos, because it's been, I think, like 8 years for him, and he's like, I can do that better now.
There you go.
Yeah. As you do. Well, let me ask you this. So, what do you think about AI in the software engineering field now?
Hot topic.
I think that it will change a lot of stuff. I think it will do a lot. I think, and I've said this for a little while now, I don't think it gets rid of software engineering. There's been many things that say, oh, we're going to get rid of software engineering. We'll make it so that anyone can do it. And I think that is a misunderstanding of what software engineering is. Software engineering is not coding. It's not programming. Software engineering is taking ambiguous descriptions of things and turning them into very concrete descriptions. And AI can help with that, but a software engineer is someone who navigates that ambiguity to come up with the concrete. And I think you still need a human to work your way through it.
Side question, what's your feeling on vibe coding?
I think that it's a really great, it's a really interesting next step for rapid prototyping, which was a whole concept in the 90s.
Yeah, right. Of course. That's actually a really good answer.
It is,
yeah. Well, that makes perfect sense because a friend of mine that I went to school with, he ended up being one of the lead IT guys for American Airlines, and his degree was in architecture.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, he fell in the IT thing and then just progressed all the way up and go, and I got a degree in architecture, but it's the same thing. It's a rigid, it's putting everything together and all that kind of stuff.
It's if you've got the right patterns of thought, software engineering is pretty. I shouldn't say easy. It can be straightforward. It's not easy.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. All right. So our third question here is, what is your white whale? So this is the one thing that you have not made, but you've always wanted.
I have not made so many things. But I think the thing that I've thought about for the longest of I think I really want to make that as a specific thing is my own workbench. Since I've not had my own workshop, I've had the makerspace that I worked on. It had a workbench that was probably in primary schools and was just beat on for decades, and nothing was flat. There were nails in it. It was just I could never use it. I remember several times I tried to use it as a surface for referencing stuff, and I'm like, no, nothing is. I can't get anything to even sit flat for planing. So I want my own workbench, and using the workbenches here, a plug for the school. You got some really nice bench crafted workbenches. I've also learned a lot about what I want on my workbench and what I don't want. What I don't want is I don't want storage underneath the workbench because it just gets covered in shavings.
Yeah. That's really, I mean, it's important though. You're getting the opportunity to see a few different things. You've taken classes, you're doing this long schooling thing. So it's really good informing that next project. You also need a dedicated space for that, which you're gonna be looking for, which is great. I mean, it is what it is. I also don't have a great bench, but someday.
What kind of hardware do you want on your bench as far as vices and that kind of thing?
Yeah, good question.
Ooh.
Because if you're over here and you want the bench crafted stuff, you better buy it now.
Buy it now. Yeah.
I have been thinking about that. So we've got the leg vices on these, and that's been really nice. The one that I used in the UK, it had a record vice. I don't know what that style is called. It's just got the two rails and screw.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, just a quick release type vice.
No quick release on it.
No quick release. Okay. Slow release.
Yeah.
And we've got a wagon vice. It's called a wagon vice, I think.
Yeah. It's built into a rail, basically, in the tail.
Yes. And that's been nice. So I think I like this setup the most so far. The bench crafted leg vice and wagon vice. I think that's really nice.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our friend Andy Klein. You can look at some of his vices. They're
with the gears.
With the gears. They're pretty nice. They're pretty nice. Yeah.
That's an engineering mind. That likes that.
Yeah, you might like that, Andrew. Inclined.com it is, but look up Andy Klein.
The name Klein, but it's basically it's a edge vice or not a leg vice, but a edge vice. What's it called?
Face vice?
Well, he has a face vice, and then he also has a new tail vice he came out with too.
Oh, tail vice. That's what I'm thinking of. Tail vice, but basically it has quick release, but also standard progression at the same time. You can engage and disengage the quick or fast or quick or slow kind of operation of it through a myriad of gears, which is really it's cool.
My Vice has a transmission on it.
Yeah,
it does.
Basically, there's like a plexiglass piece in front of it, so you can see the gears and stuff going back and forth.
I think that's optional, but yes, if you want to see it, it is really it's really good engineering for truly useful operation.
Yeah, and in fact, that's what's on Adam Savage's workbench.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
all right, I'll have to take a look at it.
It's pretty cool stuff. But
put it in the bank because there's options.
Benchcraft makes some great stuff too. So that's more your traditional stuff. And anyway,
for sure. All right. So, question 4 then: what is your number one tip for fellow woodworkers?
I think from watching the other students around me, the thing that some people struggle with a lot, it's actually geometry. Learning like geometric construction of things. So like using a compass to make an OG, or using just a compass and straight edge for like finding the bisector of a line to get a perpendicular, and doing all of those things. Because the number I learned that at the beginning of the year when I bought the by hand and eye book.
Yes,
I started going through that, and it was just, to me, it was revolutionary when I started going through that and learning how to use it and everything. And I was like, suddenly things start making sense. It's not just like I have to understand how to use the square to get a right angle or anything. It's like I can just construct the one that I need in the place that I need. I can draw all these shapes that I don't know how to freehand draw, but I can draw them accurately to different sizes. To me, that was a big thing. And watching others then struggle with that stuff, and they'd come to me and they'd be like, wait, so how do I get this angle off of this? And I was like, oh, well, you can do it this way. It's game changing, I think.
Absolutely. I had a conversation over the weekend. I was hanging drywall in my son's house, and my wife's stepfather was there, and he was kind of helping. And I was like, oh yeah, okay, so if I cut this way, the factory goes there, because we're going to flip this upside down and put it there. And he went, yeah, you see that, and I don't. I said, okay, that's fair.
There is a whole thing that I don't know if it takes training or practice or what, of being able to do those kind of like manipulations in your head.
I don't know. I've worked enough in CAD in my time that I knew it before. I was very three-dimensional before, but like thinking in Cartesian coordinates and what X, Y, and Z are is a way to get through that. I don't really think of it like that, but that's the basic. I worked decades in design, mechanical design, and so it just kind of comes second nature. And before that, I built houses. I was a structural framer, and so I literally got to see what that did to make physical things. And so it helps to have that kind of mental capacity. I don't know that everyone has that, and there are definitely ways of learning it. If you see everything as 2 dimensions, it's very hard.
Yeah,
it's very, very difficult. You just have to have a little concept of that. If a stairwell looks like a flat plane to you and it's really not 3-dimensional, you got to work at that to make it make sense. That there's multiple steps that go up and over and up and over and up and over and up and over, and they're at a width, and depending on how you're looking at it, it looks different.
Have you found any practices that help people kind of get that to click?
I mean, not immediately, but like repetitionally going through something. Yes. I mean, I've seen many very educated people go out into 3-dimensional space and wonder how things moved, and asked me how I saw them. And it's just a different thing. And I mean, what I'm thinking of it immediately was I was in a refinery. So it's a very active space. There's lots of sounds and things moving, but like if we're talking about running something through a thing, you've got to be able to visualize directions, not necessarily northeast, south, or west, but just general movements of left, right, up, or down. How you move that, and I think it just takes time to develop it. I don't really know that there's like a cue to learn it necessarily.
I think it's almost innate, if you ask me. I think it's, people that are in woodworking understand this. People that have no sense of woodworking or doesn't interest them, they're into other things, yeah, that they may not have that aptitude. And that might be one of the reasons why, some people enter into woodworking, some people are not.
and
some people are into design, some people are not. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one of those innate type things.
Right.
We all have talents in different directions. Sometimes.
Right. Of course. And if you don't have it, the struggle might be that you don't have it. And that's unfortunate, but you're going to take a little longer to maybe see that. And in my own experience, I mean, I have a little bit of aptitude there, but I had an idea of doing like splined turnings and what that would look like. I went right to CAD and I drew it in CAD because that's a tool I had in my face, and I could just kind of do it. And if I splice a different colored line into a box and then cut a bowl out of it, I see how it curves.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made intertwining turnings, by doing that. And it was a great experiment. It was a fun time, whatever. But it was doing that kind of thing. There's plenty of free tools out there, digital tool design tools that you can like kind of sandbox in, where you can kind of see how things interact, and see how joints play, see if you can make a bridle joint work.
They never work. They
do. They can. They absolutely can. You just have to understand the geometry. There's something to it. And so I think it just takes time and experience. I don't think there's any magic pill there, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So our last question, and I'm going to guess what your answer is going to be based on your comment on the previous show, is what is your go-to finish?
I think if I take it as just like, if I'm going to reach for a finish and not think about it, it's probably shellac. Just so easy, so fun to use. If I mess it up, I can just put more on or put some alcohol on and take it off.
Yeah.
Which I've done a couple times on one of my tables. But if it was something that I wanted something more durable, I'd probably go to Osmo, choose an Osmo.
Okay.
Shellac is just fun. I don't know. I every time I use it, I think this is just fun.
Yeah, it's quick. Such quick drying that you just get so much done, in a few hours time.
Mm-hmm.
And on large case pieces, you really got to keep moving.
Yeah. Well, and recently I was trying to repair a shellac finish, and so I was reading up on French polishing and the techniques used in that. And as I started to do that, I was like, I think I'm starting to understand how this works. And I started like doing the swirls and using a bit of oil on it and going for more of like you rub it. And I was getting an amazing high gloss. I was starting to see like, oh, it's not only easy, but also there's a depth to this of like, oh, there's so many more things I can do with this.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, with that, Andrew, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
They can find me on Instagram as @Parker_furniture. And if anyone's in the UK and wants to reach out and maybe get some bespoke furniture, once I have a workshop to actually make it in, I'm @ParkerFurniture.co.uk.
Well, fantastic. Well, it has been a pleasure to have you on both of these episodes, and we really, really appreciate it. And dear listener, if you want to give Andrew some feedback, some comments, or us, please go to our Instagram at MWA_podcast, or please leave us a 5-star review on the podcatcher of your choice. That really helps the show get in front of other folks. And that just about wraps it up for this show. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the show on the podcatcher of your choice. Just search for the Modern Woodworkers Association. And while you're there, please leave us a review. You can follow us on Instagram at MWA_podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcast, go over to patreon.com/MWA podcast. But the best thing you can do is tell a friend. Word of mouth goes a long way in sharing our discussion.